I mean, we were talking a little bit about it on Whiskey and Wine following the game on Saturday night. Some of the things that make him great, I think first and foremost, is his decision-making. He makes great decisions now. I know he threw a couple interceptions on Saturday night, and that was bound to happen on the season that he's been barreling on here. But, I mean, his decision-making, his accuracy, to me, makes him really the elite quarterback in college football. But his ability to just simply slide step or take one step up, one step back, or to the right or left and create a throwing lane and just open the field wide for his eyeballs and for him to just kind of get the ball wherever he needs to has been the biggest improvement from year 1 to 2 here in Baton Rouge, from his junior to senior season in LSU. So LSU's offense on Saturday night.
Before we get to the offense, because a lot of people are saying I'm sunshine pumping. Here's my problem with a lot of sports talk. Is if you have a positive opinion of what happened, then that is a lot of times what you get accused of. You're not being objective. You're just a fan. You're doing this or that. And then if you have a negative opinion of what happened, no matter what actually happened, people are like, "Oh yeah, he's keeping it real, right? Yeah, man, he's telling it like it is." Negativity does not mean objectivity. Like that's the bottom line. If I am telling you something on air, it's not because I have any ulterior motive. It's not because I'm like trying to make you. I'm not just sitting here trying to make you feel better. What I'm saying is what I truly believe in my core. It's what I truly believe after watching that game and trying to analyze it with my football mind. I just don't see a lot of reason for panic. I don't see them playing that abysmally again for a lot of reasons. But that's all I wanted to get out there. And whatever, if you believe me or not, doesn't matter. But that is at least my objective take on the situation.
So we told you about what they did offensively from just an overall unit. 714 yards of total offense, which is the second most in program history and the most against any SEC opponent. The record was set back in 1977 when Steve Ensminger was the quarterback for LSU versus Rice. Joe Burrow on Saturday night completed 32 of 42 passes. He had his career high of 489 yards to give, obviously, the LSU their 10th win. But in doing so, he broke the single-season yardage mark as an LSU quarterback that was previously held by Rohan Davey back in the 2001 campaign, where Davey threw for 3,347 yards. Right now,
do you remember how gaudy that Davey year felt, too? I mean, yes. It felt like he was throwing for 500 yards a game.
And look, he still doesn't have the single season, the single game
he got close.
Mark. I mean, like, you remember how, I mean, that puts in perspective how Rohan and those guys were moving the ball around back in 2001. I mean, Burrow, for as gaudy as his stats have been on Saturdays, he still has not thrown for more yards than Davey did that Saturday in Tuscaloosa.
But that's the point, right? It felt like Davey that year was throwing for 500 a game, and yet here Burrow is 10 just games in, and he smashed it.
So Davey's record of 3,347 yards has been standing since 2001. Right now, Burrow, after Saturday night, as we told you, is Burrow with 489 yards and 5 more touchdowns. He stands at 3,687 yards through 10 games. They play Arkansas this week. They'll close with Texas A&M. They'll play in an SEC title game, and then from there you would hope that he would have possibly 2 more games left. So, I mean, he could play 5 more games potentially to add on to that 3,687. I mean, he could put this thing so far out of reach. He could potentially throw for like 4,500 yards.
Oh, okay. I'm going to bring up the calculator. I can't do this math off my head. Let's just go with a conservative based off of how you say. So 5 more games, say 350 yards a game.
Yeah, but like I could see him throwing for like 500 against Arkansas.
No doubt. But that's what I'm saying. Conservative approach here. Okay, what's he at right now? 3,600 yards, basically?
He's at 3,687.
Okay. Okay. So let's just say he goes 350 for the next 5 games. We're talking about over 5,300 yards.
I mean,
what?
That's Drew Brees stuff.
What?
I mean, that's playing 17 regular season games in the NFL stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's what you're watching at quarterback. So if you're really truly moaning and complaining about the LSU defense on Saturday night, pinch yourself and wake up. The Tigers are 10-0 with the best offense in college football
and
the number
Trophy
1
winner.
pick. And so Burrow's throwing to possibly the greatest wide receiver tandem in LSU history. On Saturday night, those guys, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, each eclipsed 1,000 yards on the season during the contest. That duo becomes the third in SEC history to have reached the milestone, joining Florida's Jabbar Gaffney and Rashae Caldwell.
Who are the other two?
Who had it in 2001, and then in 2013, Jarvis Landry and OBJ. So right now, those two guys.
Who said LSU doesn't have receivers? 2 of the 3 times it's ever been done, the Tigers.
How about that? Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson both go over 1,000. Chase caught 8 passes for 227 on Saturday, which is the 4th most in LSU history, and became the first Tiger to record 3 straight 100-yard games since Michael Clayton did it back in 2003 with the 3 touchdowns on Saturday night. Chase set the single-season record for touchdown receptions by a wide receiver that was previously held by Dwayne Bowe in 2004, where he had 12 from Jamarcus Russell. This season, with Chase's 4 on Saturday night, he's got 13. So he's got 13 touchdowns on the season, which is a single-season record. Jefferson had a team-high 9 catches for 112 and 2 touchdowns on Saturday. So, I mean, this offense is continuing just to shatter records. Clyde had his 3rd straight 100-yard game and with a career-best 172.
Clyde almost had 200 total yards.
And 23 carries. Another score for Clyde.
So, I mean, you know, that's the strength of this team. That's the strength of this team. And the problem, okay, and here's the other deal is, you know, like we said, obviously a performance like that is not good enough to win a national championship. But I don't think that's where your head should be at. Like when you talk about trying to expect a team to win it all, Jordy, the math isn't really on your side, right? Like only one team is going to be standing there tall at the end. Now, why you should feel good is that even though the defense is not elite, they're not great, then, you know, I think people are maybe still trying to accept this is not the defenses of LSU's past, but I think they are good enough. Like, I do think that this team is definitely good enough to win a championship. Now they just got to go make it happen.
All right, some of the guys were speaking after the game, including Clyde. 3rd straight 100-yard game for the Baton Rouge native. Here he is with Brian Holland of Go Nation Sports talking post-game in Oxford.
That's part of being on a team. You know, sometimes people have good games, sometimes they don't. Being able to have the defense's back that's what the offense pride ourselves on. And then, you know, sometimes when the offense is not going our way, the defense always has our back. That's the part of it. That's the team aspect that we live by.
Thad Moss, another nice night for Moss on Saturday. We told you about the wide receivers and what they accomplished with Jamar Chase catching 8 passes. Justin Jefferson had a team-high 9 catches. Thad Moss, 5 catches for 63 yards. Here he is post-game.
That's part of being on a team. You know, sometimes people have good games, sometimes.
I mean, it was a good day. The stats showed that the offense played good, but it's still, you know, the same thing. We didn't play our best game. When we go watch film on Monday, there's going to be plenty of stuff to watch and correct. And we've yet to play our best game of football yet, which is crazy. Coach O's been talking about it, a 4-quarter game, all 3 phases, and I don't think we've yet to play a 4-quarter game. Just from the offensive perspective, I don't think we've yet to play a 4-quarter game. And that's what's crazy. We're putting up good numbers. You know, it looks good on the stat sheet, but when we watch film, we're still not executing how we need to be.
And I love hearing that. And he's absolutely right. And that is that 4-quarter perfection is what they need to fight for and aim for.
Ogeron talking about his top wideout, Jamar Chase.
I love the recruiting battle. He was committed to Florida. I love his parents. He got a great family. He's right there from Romo High School. To see him grow, he was a phenomenal receiver when he came here. But to see the job that Joe Birdie and Mickey Jones has done with him and the connection that him and Joe have, he's a very strong receiver. Yards after the catch, he looks like he catches every ball. I'm proud of him.
Weekend winners coming up here in 15 minutes. That's the thing about LSU's wide receivers. You put it around them, they catch it. I mean, all those stories we read about in the offseason, they all caught 10,000 balls or something. There was an emphasis on not dropping the football. I mean, they've really improved. They were not great at that last year. They have become vacuum cleaners, man. I mean, you put the ball in a radius around them, and it is getting caught. So it was another dominant performance by the LSU wide receivers on Saturday night. We'll close at hour 1 next here on OTB.
Off the bench with Kalana and T-Bob.